Welcome to Whispering Pines Shetland Sheep Farm. Our flock is known for their soft, crimpy, fine wool, produced solely for hand spinners to enjoy. Today we're at the skirting table, preparing another fleece for our annual fleece auction. This video will give you a hands-on look at every possible aspect of the fleeces I am offering in this year's auction. I'll be talking about the quality of the fleece, my recommendations for processing the wool, and I'll share some information about the ewe that donated this lovely fleece. I hope you enjoy today's skirting video.
Hello, welcome to the farm. Thanks for joining me and my girls here as I continue to skirt fleeces for our 2026 fleece auction. Today I'm going to be skirting a UK ewe, so that's one of the ewes from when we did artificial insemination. She is 3 years old. Her name is Liverpool. She's a white ewe. She's a very big ewe. If you've been watching my videos, this, comparing it to other fleeces in my flock, is a very large fleece. So I was thinking about I'm going to open this up, but while I was getting the data for Liverpool and just thinking about her, I was thinking about you guys viewing these videos, and something is happening as I'm producing them, and that is that I'm making comments in some of them and not in others, which sort of, you kind of have to watch all of them in order to, if it's important to you, that you keep up with the narrative here. So here's what I mean. I was talking about my UK ewes, the lambs that we got from doing the artificial insemination with rams from the UK. So they shipped the semen over in dry ice, and we did artificial insemination at the vet's office at the clinic where they surgically implanted the sperm cells in their uterus. The whole thing. There's a playlist on the whole thing. Sourcing the rams, bringing it over. It's really interesting, so I'm not going to get into that. But the one thing I said when I was skirting, I believe it was Wrexham's fleece. Leighton is another white ewe. So, but when I was skirting her fleece, I was making the comment that some of these UK fleeces are a little bit off track for us. We knew it was going to happen, and this one is the one. This is probably the one that is the most different from what we breed for. It's the most not what you would expect if you're familiar with our fleeces. There's nothing wrong with it. It's a beautiful fleece. I would actually really enjoy working on this fleece. But it really doesn't represent what we were selecting for. It wouldn't have mattered. So we're not doing lambs anymore. We're not having lambs because there's a bunch of different reasons. And actually, I made a video about that decision and what drove that. If we were still having lambs, probably what we would have done is bred these UK ewes, what I call them, the ewes that we got from the UK semen, to Sebastian and Duncan, two really, really fine, the Shetland rams that totally typify what we like, and see what we got from lambs from that. And the thing there would have been, expanding our genetic diversity by bringing in new blood. So the first generation of that sometimes is not exactly what you want, but you got to sort of work through the generations to get there. So, long story. Liverpool, this ewe, is exactly what we thought we were going to get with all of them, which is very bold crimp, extremely different fleece at the breech than what you see at the neck. Let me just give you that close up so you can see. I did this with another fleece and it was not as obvious. This one, I might end up, I'll be really surprised if most of us don't see a big difference here. Oops, forgot to turn this camera on. It's okay. So here's the lock I pulled off of the breech, and here's the lock I pulled off of the neck. So you're going to see some difference with everything, but this is a big difference. And the point is this breech, this quality where it's not really crimpy and it's got a real hairy tip, it's like that for a long way up into the fleece. So with what we select for, the ewes would have breech wool, hairy, coarser wool, maybe here, just a handful. Whereas with this ewe, Liverpool, I mean, there's a little crimp here, very bold. Yeah. The one thing I will say is that this is going to be extremely easy to process. The way I'm going to skirt this is I'm going to skirt it like I skirt all my fleeces, which is I'm going to leave the wool that's under the coat. But just know that it's going to be wool that's not super fine. Her micron, which we took a sample in the center right here, her spinning fineness was 26.1. That's from a sample that's right, in the center, should be representative, plus or minus, of the whole fleece. So I guess that's all I want to say about that. So I'm going to go ahead and skirt. There's not a whole lot of short, dirty bits, because another thing about Liverpool, she is enormous. So stuff doesn't fall on her. I mentioned when I was talking about Leighton that I thought she was the one that had the spotted ears, but she's not. I'm pretty sure it is Liverpool that's got the really cute spotted ears. She's out of Ophavia, and Oberon was the white ram. So both her parents are white. The white ram that we use the semen on. She's not real friendly. I don't really know her personality that well, her temperament. I honestly feel like it's really weird. I don't have as much of a strong connection with what I'm calling the UK ewes as I do with the ones that are from our rams, and that might be why, because they're not out of our rams. It's the same way I am, not proud of this, but with ewes that I buy, I just don't have that real strong connection with them. And the naming convention, I did want to mention that because I fell off of that track when I was doing Leighton's video. The UK ewes we named after football teams in the UK. So we got Bristol, Leighton, Chelsea, Wrexham, Blackburn, and Liverpool. And it's because my sons and my husband are very avid, we're going to call it soccer here in the States, but it's football. Don't say soccer in my house. So they actually picked the names, and they didn't even look at the sheep. They just told me what names I was going to use. I kind of stood firm on Bristol. I really liked that name. And Chelsea, they liked that team, I guess, so they were okay with it, I think. So anyways, that was the naming convention for the ewes that we got through artificial insemination. Okay, I'm coming around the neck. This is all wool that's going to go into the comb top. Tell you, she did produce an enormous fleece. So why is this wool so different from the superfine Shetland wool that we're producing on our farm, or that we were producing when we were having lambs? It's a different country, so they're different. But I think that there is a stronger influence possibly with this particular used genetics, that she might have a little bit more Cheviot in her from the crosses, even though she's a purebred Shetland. And by the way, another video I'm going to reference here is one I made about, what's the deal with Shetland wool? I forget what it's called. Shetland wool. How come it's so variable all over the world? You can't tell somebody you bought a Shetland fleece and the person's not going to know exactly what you got. If they're knowledgeable about sheep, they're going to say, well, is it one of the double coated, or is it a intermediate, a superfine? Did you get it from a farm in Washington? I mean, it's very tricky. The one thing I learned while I was making that video, because I was talking about yarns as well as wool, spinning wool, there are a lot of yarn companies that say it's Shetland, and they just say that for the name Shetland, that they're not even Shetland wool, and they'll put that in the description. It's just the name of the yarn. All right, Miss Lovely Liverpool, here is your ginormous fleece. Can't wait to try and guess the weight on this one. What are you doing? What are you doing? Hi, Robin. Why did I leave all that up there? That's not staying. I'm tired. So I'm skirting it in the evening this time. I thought it might be not so hot and not as many flies, which that is correct, but I'm tired because I get up really early. And usually by now I'm in bed reading with a bowl of popcorn. But I really wanted to try and get these out to you guys as quick as I can. I'm trying to do 3 a day. I'm not doing that well. Yeah. All right, so I take this little shot of the fleece, right side shot of the staple still attached to the fleece, just to kind of get a sense of the character. Oops, covering up the entire lens there. So these are not representative locks. One came from the neck and one came from the bridge. So I'm going to take this one here. Not a lot of stretch. So I'll tell you, if you like to spin and make socks, this would be the fleece for that. 3 inches. Because it's just under the prickle factor. We're going to have to look at her histogram, which I don't have that here. Rich could look at her numbers and tell you. She's going to have some fibers that are over 28. But this would make a good sock yarn if you're looking for something that would be... What are you chewing the wood for? Cut that out. Hey, stop it. You goober. You've been eating all day. There's no way you're hungry. What are you doing? All right, so look at this. I hate to be ragging on Liverpool because I really do love her, and I think this is going to be a fun fleece to work on. But that's it. It's about a ½ inch. That's what you're going to get with her. Very pretty fleece. It's just weird. Alrighty, let's flip it over. So this is one of those fleeces where you're going to be able to say, oh, you know, you can use the britch wool for applications where you need some durability and the neck wool for softness, because that's how variable it is. Again, not bad, just not what you would expect from our breeding. But, you know, much like how I was talking about Audi, my ewe, who was the first generation from our attempts to purchase stock that was going to get us closer to fine wool faster, that first generation was not exactly what we like. But you got to start somewhere. And I do like Audi's fleece. I didn't like how much bridge she had. And I think that's pretty much it. Her fleece is now more characteristic of what you would expect from an old ewe. Shorter staple, coarser bits of fibers in there. Let's talk about Liverpool. So the shearing quality looks really good. I do remember the shearer really enjoyed shearing her, liked the size. You got to imagine when he's shearing my little Shetlands, he doesn't get that kind of release, you know, when they go over the whole torso, that nice long slag. He gets to go like this, and then he's already done. So yeah, so she gave him a little bit more of the experience that he's used to. And I say that not, he would never ever say, oh, I don't like how I have to, but I just imagine that in my head. So that was my own rendering of how I imagine his experiences when he comes here. Oh my God, I am just rambling. All right, Liverpool, here we go. Ooh, I just felt a nice breeze on this hot summer night. I'm going to say this fleece is over 30 ounces. That is my guess. Hey, girls. You sillies. So here's her neck wall. And that's as we get closer to the bridge. You got your head caught in there? I didn't tell you to put your head in there. Well, now I got it all. Not as organized, but that's okay. Liverpool, I'm gonna guess 30 ounces. Let's see how I do. It's almost as 29.27. What do you think about that? What do you think about that, babies? Of course, I don't have a pen. 29.27. Okay, Liverpool's done. We're getting there. Thanks so much for stopping by to watch the video. Hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you can come back. I put a link to the playlist in the description if you want to go back and catch up on other skirting videos that I've made, so you can get the full story about my flock and the different years of lambs that we had and all their stories. I really appreciate you stopping by. Thank you so much, and I hope you can come back soon. All right, you guys gonna say goodbye? You say goodbye? Mimi? Belinda? You say bye? You're not Belinda, you're Salome. Why are you pretending to be Belinda?
Thank you for spending some time with me at the skirting table. If this fleece spoke to you, and if you want to be notified when the fleeces are available for viewing on the website, scan this QR code to be taken to my mailing list sign-up form on the website. Or scroll down to the description of this video for a link to the sign-up form on my website. Thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you can come back soon.